Jake Mercado, grade 11, STEM Aristotle.
Raisa May Pirico Hermosa from STEM 11 Aristotle.
I am Joshua Retardo from grade 11 STEM Aristotle.
Cyril Ann H. Berggren, grade 11, STEM Aristotle.
Angelito Ballelos III, STEM 11, Aristotle.
I'm Pilimon A. Rolyaque III from STEM 11 Aristotle.
And we are here to present our research study entitled In Person Face-to-Face Experience and Motivation for the New Normal Classroom Setup. Objective: to determine the experience and motivation of the student in the new normal classroom setup. Reason why we choose this study. The reason why the researcher choose this study is because they want to know the experience and motivation of the student in the new normal classroom setup and to analyze if there are significant effects on their academic performance.
Introduction. School provides an environment in which we can learn a variety of fundamental skills. Preschools teach children as young as 3 years old on how to read and write. They begin to learn alphabets, numbers, and even simple arithmetics. Spending 8 long hours every day in the same old building full of obnoxious children of various ages is not easy as one might think. Furthermore, the never-ending homework that students are assigned only adds up to their dislike of school. Without a doubt, school is annoying and boring, with a lot of effort put into getting good grades. Nonetheless, school is extremely important, which is why your parents are putting so much pressure on you to work so hard.
Statement of the problem. This study focuses in different experience and motivation of the students in the new normal classroom setup. What are the academic challenges that the student experience during the new normal classroom setup? What are the experiences and motivation of the students in the new normal classroom setup? How do students adjust in the new normal classroom setup? Significance. This study will benefit the following. This study's findings will provide a better understanding about the student opinion and their different perspectives in the face-to-face learning in the new normal classroom setup. To students, it will help them understand and adjust to the new normal classroom setup. To teachers, it will be source of information about the student experiences.
Review of related literature and studies. In the new daily setup of education, students' self-efficacy and academic depth perform a vital role in achieving the student goal by maintaining their enthusiasm to study more despite challenges. Therefore, its idea that one can successfully complete a thing within one's capabilities in educational psychology, particularly online learning, self-efficacy, and educational motivation have gathered a lot of attention. In the context of education, self-efficacy relates to a learner readiness to attempt, persist, and succeed the task. There are two likely explanations for their failure. Either they lack the essential skill required to succeed, or they possess the requisite skill but lack the sense of efficacy to put them to use. These opinions of their own skill. One of the areas of human existence that has been most impacted by the coronavirus disease 2019 epidemic is education. In a recently disclosed correspondence, the author reminds all nations that it is their duty to develop plans for securely reopening school in order to mitigate the consequences of the COVID-19 pandemic as a public health catastrophe. This study relates the importance of following school health standards when delivering face-to-face classes in accordance with national and international recommendations. The COVID-19 is expected to have a long-term consequence from the global economic, and the epidemic has already had an immediate impact on higher education, and the student experience face-to-face learning has largely been replaced in academic institutions by blended learning and online learning. According to proponents of blended learning, given the abrupt change in the educational environment, it's critical to record the student preference in order to describe how students experience various teaching methods both before and after the COVID-19 pandemic. We are motivated to conduct this study for several reasons. First, numerous reports from educators in literature discuss the difficulties associated with the abrupt transition from face-to-face blended learning. The Department of Education has accepted three unique approaches of gaining knowledge of transfer for school, specifically online distant learning, modular distant learning, and radio-based instruction. These three modalities hinge on the tense of flip and blended learning, two strategies that are changing the educational panorama by the way harnessing the strength of technological knowledge to deliver reconcile to their digital natives. Blended learning is usually described as a combination of online and face-to-face studying so that the grade and teaching content material cloth like video games, broadcasts, and online material are used in conjunction with bodily tutoring. However, in the present day setup, the region university college student will be taught remotely from their home. Blended learning is described by the way Department of Education as the fusion of the some distant away reading and information shipping of printed substance to the home of the newcomers by using barangay for those who don't have net get entry and interactive service in the elevation of their home. In areas where college students might according additionally no longer have get right of an entry to laptop and laptop computer, radio and television may additionally moreover be used to broadcast coaching and material. Flip learning on the one of the kind hand is a pedagogical approach to place direct teaching strides from a crew getting to comprehend vicinity to a man girl getting to know space. Under the ordinary college from room setup, a trainer introduced the scenario quantity to the student for the first time in thus the software of the learnings given as a take-home venture. The college student handled by the way of skill themselves. In flip learning, the opposite applied as the flip institute described it. Let's sit and listen equals graded do and learn, while the new instructing surrounding creates many challenges for teachers, students, and parents. It's also open bounty of chances to enhance the standard methods of instructing in the Philippine school. According to Amelia Bailon, a faculty member of De La Salle Sobel, flip reading with benefits now that solely student alternative structure and parents as well. For a student, flip provides getting to know preference to this struggling to hold up with their classmate in the common setup.
Therefore, the researchers conclude that the new normal classroom have a huge impact in the student experience and motivation. Based on the students that the researcher interviewed, they had a hard time adjusting to the new normal classroom setup.
Design. The researchers make use of the qualitative approach in gathering the data needed for the study. In this study, the researchers use phenomenological method of research aside for phenomenological method. The researchers also need use purposive sampling. This study focuses on the experience and motivation on the new normal classroom setup in Landay National High School.
This study will be executed at Landay National High School in Barangay Landay, Santa Cruz, Marinduque. 30 students will be selected to be the respondent of
Research instrument. The researchers used interview as the method in collecting the data for this study. The students will be interviewed one by one and asked questions personally directly to the respondent. The questions are aimed to draw out all the relevant information about the experience and motivation of the selected students from Landay National High School. Furthermore, a questionnaire will be used to guide the researchers while conducting this study.
Ethical considerations. This study highly embraced and practiced high ethical considerations. The anonymity of the participants was strictly observed through the use of identifier or pseudonym. The purpose of this study, its procedure, and outcomes were clearly explained to the participants. It was emphasized that participation in this study is purely voluntary and no monetary compensation involved. Permission from the school principal was also secured. Parental consent allowing the participant to be a part of this research was also required. An informed consent was signed by the participants of the study. All information and data collected were original, properly transcribed, verified by the participant, underwent peer debriefing, and no makeup of data or alteration of results. Appropriate words were carefully used in translating the interview responses.
Data gathering procedure. The research followed the following methods. First, seek permission before conducting the study. Then questionnaires were distributed personally and via online to the respondents to get their necessary data to the study. Third, the collection of the data was tabulated and presented in the study. And lastly, the result and analysis and the study conclusion based on the data gathered and presented were formulated.